Good evening and thank you for joining us. Eabametoong First Nation is now into its second week without running water. The community began evacuating its most vulnerable members on Monday, and more people are landing in Thunder Bay today. Lee Noonan was at the Valhalla to speak with Chief Saul Atlukan. She now joins us live in the studio. Lee.
Thanks, Ryan. Eabametoong has been under a state of emergency since its water treatment plant sustained fire damage last Wednesday. By the end of the day, there will be more than 300 evacuees in the city. The fire that damaged the water treatment plant in Eabametoong First Nation also destroyed the lines leading from the pump house, according to Chief Saul Atlukan, who says the blaze spread from two nearby storage containers.
They blew it up because of some of the chemicals and blew the door open to the sea cans, and that fireball went right across into the water treatment plant. And there was so much heat in that it ignited and went underneath.
Atlukan says water could be flowing through the pipes again within 7 to 10 days, but that will depend on the results of water quality testing and progress with cleanup efforts at the water treatment plant.
We want to be absolutely sure there is no contaminants in the water system or in the reservoir. We want to make sure the job is done right. We don't want to have to go through this all over again.
In the meantime, the community's most vulnerable members are being evacuated to Thunder Bay, with roughly 350 people expected to be in the city by end of day Thursday.
Elders and the chronically ill and kids, and we have to bring, like, say for instance, if one or two are, say, ill or are chronically ill in the family, we have to bring the whole family out because we can't leave the children there. So that's what's gathering up the numbers.
Displacing that many people is a massive effort, and Atlukan says he's been impressed with the organization from both services in Thunder Bay and workers back in the community.
I want to thank everybody that helped us what happened here, the whole community, and those people that are helping, and we are looked after very well here.
I'd like to say hi to the people here in Thunder Bay and thank you.
And thank you for everyone who is supporting us and with our water system at home.
Caregivers and service providers in the city and from the First Nation have set up at the hotel to support the evacuees in both English and Anishinaabe.
He said that he was well taken care of here. He's been looked after.
For the evacuees we spoke with, their main concern was for families still home in the community.
I'm just worrying about my two grandkids. They're back home.
Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police are investigating a shooting at this hour. Officers were called to Cummings Street between May and Mackenzie Streets around 5 o'clock, following reports that a man was injured in a shooting. He was located and transported to the regional hospital for evaluation and treatment. The investigation continues and the public is asked to avoid the area until further notice. We hope to have more details on the Late Edition News. Members of Thunder Bay's Sister Cities Committee are recommending that the group be dissolved. They'll make that recommendation to City Council on Monday. The committee has been at risk of getting chopped for years due to budgetary concerns, and a public consultation on the matter is scheduled. But Chair Matthew Villela says there's just no way to compete against other programs that are also at risk.
Yes, it's nice to have a Sister City Committee, but when there's other things on the table that are getting cut, like movies in the park, like services reduced, parkettes not being serviced, how can we justify as a committee that we are going to move forward?
Villela says he would love it if Council rejects the proposal and endorses the Sister Cities program. He notes the group contributes a lot to the community, bringing economic benefits and cultural exchange opportunities. But he says when it's always on the budget chopping block, the group can't be effective ambassadors for Thunder Bay. Villela adds the recommendation to dissolve the committee was a very difficult one to make.
We want this to continue. We work so hard, and we are ambassadors of the City of Thunder Bay, and we want to continue to be ambassadors. But this is something that when you put us up against everything else that's being cut right now, how in good conscience can we say, give us the money and cut everything else? So as responsible stewards of the City of Thunder Bay and things that the City of Thunder Bay is doing, I think this is probably the best avenue, unless we get a mandate from City Council.
No matter what council decides on Monday, public consultation will still go ahead next month for some of the other potential cuts, including Eabametoong Arena, outdoor rinks, and a pair of transit routes. Many Gillies residents are frustrated by the township's proposed tax levy hike. The latest draft budget includes a whopping 26% increase for the 440 rural residents, but the Reeve insists her council is still working to reduce that number. It's already down from the initially proposed hike of 34.5%. That's because of cuts like chopping $20,000 budgeted for road, salt, and sand down to $10,000. Gillies Reeve Wendy Wright stresses she'll continue working to lower the tax levy to ensure there's as little impact as possible on residents.
I mean, it is going to be a big increase, I'm not going to lie. You know, trying to save little bits here and there, but right now it is completely bare bones. This is just paying the bills. There's no, there's no Christmas bonuses, there's no travel, there's no, everything has been taken out that we could really take out without compromising any services.
There have been rumblings online of a 28% increase, but Wright says that figure isn't accurate. The next public meeting goes next Wednesday at the Gillies Community Centre. The final budget is scheduled to be ratified on July 24th. The Ontario Provincial Police have released the latest highway collision statistics in the Northwest, including those involving transports. OPP say while any major crash is too many, the year-to-date stats do show some improvement over last year. Mitchell Ringos breaks down the numbers.
Year-to-date statistics revealed from the OPP show some decreases in the amount of overall collisions, especially those involving transports. Compared to 2022, the number of fatal collisions involving transports has jumped from 1 to 5, but non-fatal injuries decreased 21% from 24 to 19. Collisions with only property damage dropped 29% from 286 to 203, and overall collisions involving transports had a fairly drastic decrease of 27% from 311 to 227. And if we count all collisions, there was a 13% drop from 1,114 to 995. Provincial Constable Matt Foster said he can't determine exactly why the percentages have decreased, but says looking at the stats from last year, it is still concerning how many crashes were avoidable.
Mechanical failure resulted in only 12 of those collisions. Inattentive driver was 86 of those 639 collisions. Animals, moose, bear, that kind of thing up in our region, 92 of them. 112 of those collisions last year were because the driver had lost control. 98 of those 639 collisions last year were the reason was speed, and the speed being too fast for the conditions. And 7 also were excessive speed.
Foster does say he believes we will see a similar number of avoidable crashes this year and says the OPP are taking necessary steps to educate drivers.
These collisions are preventable. So that's why the OPP is out this week participating in Operation Safe Driver to bring awareness and education to those of the public in regards to commercial motor vehicle safety.
Now, these are just year-to-date numbers. As Foster says, percentages could catch back up by the end of the year, but says it is a positive sign to see fewer collisions so far. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
A 62-year-old Thunder Bay man has been charged with possessing and accessing child pornography. Ian Thomas Smout was arrested this morning when police searched a home on the 100 block of Riverview Drive. Electronic devices were also seized at that time. Smout appeared in bail court today and has been remanded into custody. Thunder Bay Police are asking for the public's help to identify the people who broke into Our Lady of Charity School on County Boulevard early this past Friday morning and started a fire inside. The flames were extinguished by responding officers. Police believe the school was broken into just after 3 a.m. No suspect descriptions are available at this time. Any home or business owners with surveillance cameras in the area are asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. On Monday night, City Council will consider a recommendation to approve a $2.3 million contract for a new electronic fare management system for all city buses. If approved, the company Payment in Motion will get the green light to implement a new tap-and-go system. Instead of monthly passes and tickets, passengers will get reusable smart cards that can just be tapped to pay their fare. Riders will also have an account to load funds into. That can be done online or at select retailers. Transit Services Manager Brad Loroff says if approved by Council, the new system will be fully implemented next spring. But the smart card system won't be the only option.
We'll also offer limited use cards. It'll be a card where once you pay for whatever your pass is, you'll use it, and once it is all the value is expended off that card, it's a disposable card. The fare boxes that we'll be putting in will still accept cash, bills and coins. So for, again, people who may not take advantage of the smart card system itself, we'll still have a number of other fare payment options available to them.
Passengers will also be able to pay their fare through an app on their phone. In the future, debit or credit cards could also be used. Thunder Bay's Leanna Frenette was presented with the keys to a brand new house this afternoon after winning this year's Rotary House Lottery on Canada Day. More than 18,000 tickets were sold for the 37th annual House Lottery out of 20,000 that were available. The Rotary Club raised more than $600,000 for charities across the region. The fully furnished luxury home in the Parkdale subdivision is valued at $750,000. The Fort William Rotary president describes her memorable phone call to Frenette on July 1st.
Because I could hear someone saying, "Is this a joke?" And, well, you can only imagine. You might feel that way if someone calls you and tells you you just won the Rotary House.
Parkdale is a beautiful subdivision. I know several people that live here. We do have our own home, however, and so we do intend to sell this. Hopefully we'll find a young family that can enjoy the home.
Preparations are already underway for next year's House Lottery. A local club that builds and flies model airplanes was recently forced to move, but members are calling it a blessing in disguise. After operating next to the Thunder Bay Correctional Center since 1978, the Lakehead Aero Modelers had to relocate because of their proximity to the airport. The club found its new home on Highway 130 near McCluskey Drive. The group currently has around 35 members who build and fly a variety of models and strive to promote model aviation in the district. Vice President Andrew Condor says moving to the new location was difficult, but ultimately it's a better space.
Well, it's been a lot of work to get the new site ready to go. It's been a lot of help through the volunteers and the members of the Flying Club, but we're super happy with this new location, and we have a longer runway, we have less obstructions. I mean, it's really just sort of heaven for us model airplane flyers to have this kind of space available.
It's be able to fly like everything you would not be able to fly in real life. It's more relaxed and it's just enjoying, and you do that with a bunch of friends and stuff like that, so it's even better.
The Aero Modelers encourage anyone interested in getting involved in the hobby to reach out for more information. Well, turning to weather now, Fiona, another seasonal day out there.
Yeah, some lingering clouds, though. We started out with partly cloudy skies first thing in the morning. The clouds kind of growing in the afternoon. But temperature-wise, it was quite nice. It was a cool night, a low of 7, so quite comfortable for sleeping with the windows open. We warmed up to 23, and that's with winds fairly light from the southeast, ranging from just 4 up to 14 kilometers per hour. There is more sunshine to the west, though. In Fort Francis, they're currently at 22, 23 in Atikokan, 22 in Upsala, and back to 23 for both Dryden and Kenora. It's a much drier heat, so the humidex really not much of a factor, maybe affecting it by 1 degree or so is, for what it feels like. Now the clouds continued to increase as you head further north into Red Lake. They're currently at a high of 24. Sioux Lookout at 25. Heading eastward, they're back to 23, 24 in Greenstone, also under mostly cloudy skies for much of the day. Nepean at 22, but Marathon with the winds from the southeast feeling a little bit chilly off the lake. They're just at 15 kilometers per hour. And Sault Ste. Marie currently mostly cloudy at 21. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, it's going to be another cool but comfortable night, a low of 8. We're going to see even more clouds in the overnight hours. And then as we head into Thursday, it's actually not looking bad at all. We're seeing that less humid air continue to hover over Thunder Bay and areas to the north. Temperatures should be not quite, but almost seasonal. However, it's not going to last long. We have some rain that's going to try to push in for Friday and could make the next few days a little bit iffy as we head into the weekend. I'll have more details later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, to another thing that's dampening people's spirits, the Bank of Canada's key interest rate has hit its highest level since 2001. That's after another increase today, the 10th hike since the start of 2022. We'll have details when your news hour continues right after the break.
These decisions are difficult, and we did discuss the possibility of holding rates unchanged and gathering more information to confirm the need to raise the policy rate.